behind the name of the show?
Red Star, the red star on the California flag basically goes back to the 1836 original California independence flag.
Got it.
Also, honestly, if you talk to everybody around, from everybody from the indigenous community to environmentalist groups to whoever you speak to, the red star on the California flag is probably the only element on the flag that is not controversial. Everybody likes the red star doesn't offend everybody.
So I guess by that same rationale, the bald eagle can be an affront to all Native Americans. Is that?
If you'll find people who these days, like I said, not to deep dive, but these days we can find people to be upset about almost anything.
Yeah.
You can find people to be upset about almost anything, but basically the first flag of California independence was a white banner with a red star, with a big red star on it. And that's why the red star is still on the California flag. That's why you still see it. Since that was the original flag of California independence in 1836, when we declared independence from Mexico, Red Star Report kind of gives a little nod back to that. And, besides, the alliteration on it is kind of cool.
Well, I don't know. I when I think red, I think of bad politics, and when I think of Red Star, it brings to mind Lone Star, and I don't know.
Well,
you
guys, you're right.
So, I think actually Red Star Report is perfect because again, like that's the it's kind of like maybe it gets a little bit of a hint of towards like Lone Star, but like we are kind of going out on our own here, so. Again, like that's kind of like we're a single star that's basically trying to subtract from the American flag.
Well, that is arguable. It is in some circles. Some historians argue that Californians were the first ones to actually call it the Lone Star. Texans, because let's face it, the only thing Texans have ever innovated on was they basically put brown sugar and ketchup and called it barbecue sauce. Other than that, Texan hasn't innovated on anything in the last 200 years, as far as I can tell.
Just kind of screwing up our politics, and then being so oil heavy, which will be great in the 21st century because I'm sure that's going to last.
Yeah, well, people talk about how terrible California is. Everybody, we hear this all the time. Oh, California is terrible. Homeless this and homeless that. It's like one of those. Okay, well, no one mentions that. Basically, from El Paso to Dallas, Texas is a toxic waste dump. If you look at overhead photos or satellite photos of Texas, 100 years of oil drilling has done absolutely nothing to beautify the place. I mean, it's just fields of dead oil wells. Unlivable. I mean, they've destroyed everything from their water table to the environment, to the wildlife environment. Throughout a place that's basically the size of Kansas, but no one seems to mention that. But let's get real here. The right wing has always had better press agents than the left. So California's a terrible place. Horrible. Don't go there. Yeah, please don't move here, especially from Texas. Stay home. It's cool. We're good with you there.
It's a good day. I love the name.
How the bad politics part of it? I don't get that part.
Red state versus blue state sort of thing.
Actually,
I see.
Well, being one of the token graybeards in the conversation, the whole red state blue state was basically Fox News reversing what had been the tradition when George W. was running. Originally it was the Democrats who were red, and it was the Republicans that were blue, because basically they were initially trying to associate the Democratic Party with socialism, communism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, Madison Avenue came out with a study that basically said, well, Yes, but in polls, in opinion polls, people see red as decisive, active. People see blue as passive and indecisive. So Fox News reversed the colors back in like the early mid or in the mid 90s. Red. The hope, actually, to be honest with you, the hope is that California can eventually stop. Can we just stop with that whole? It's like, this is red, this is blue, this is red politics, that's blue politics. Can we just can we get away from their model? Their model. It makes no
Exactly.
sense. Californians are in, from what I've seen, and this is my experience talking. And feel free to yell at me or argue with me about it. Californians are an odd mix. We don't want to see the right to get married removed from the LGBTQ community. If gay people want to get married, good. Okay. Smoking pot, yeah, California legalized. You know, California has some of the most progressive values of any state out there, but California is also, historically speaking, are financially fairly conservative. Californians don't necessarily want to see California blow the budget. They don't want to see Californians waste money on bad ideas. They want their schools to function and their roads to be good. And they don't like it apparently don't like it when the government has to borrow money. So maybe instead of red state, blue state, we could just start a conversation about California common sense. And maybe that's the best way to begin. Because
Well, I think sure. Sorry.
No, it's okay. That red state, blue state has done nothing but harm to America.
I think it's just one of the things to focus on is, because if we I'm not saying you're wrong, anything you said, but it's just like, in my personal opinion, like, if we kind of like say, like, we're going beyond that, that's true. But then it kind of sounds like we're trying to, how do you put it, like, unify the two. I think that, one of the things we want to, like, focus on is the problem solution idea. Because I think that, again, Republicans have crazy ideas and Democrats have no ideas. So I think if we kind of like go through with like an idea, problem solution, and keep it at that level, I think that would be kind of good. And this, like, not even mentioning, like, the partisanship. I mean, besides actually just saying, like, they're, the way the setup is right now is that, third parties are locked out. So again, if you have a different opinion that doesn't really align with the Democrat or Republican, you don't really have a snowball's chance in hell of actually getting anything done or having a candidate that really supports your view.
No, first off, I can be wrong. Ask my family. I've been wrong on any one of a number of occasions, according to them. But yeah, no, I agree. The idea here is that it would be nice if if our government could do what's good for the people, the land, what's good for the common, what the common good would be a nice change. It would be a really nice change of pace. Yeah, no, I combining the two, yeah, I think Californians are largely past that anyway. It's like, you hear things like California is the least religious state, and California is the least patriotic state. California seems, in some ways, California reminds me of like West Germany used to be. It's like, yeah, we want our roads to be good, and we want our air to be clean, and we want our schools to be good. Where you go to pray on Sunday, or even if you do or not, very few people really care. Joe is right. We should move along, and I should get off the soapbox.
That's not what I mean, Al.
No, it's okay. No, it's, by all means, kick me off the soapbox. And yeah, if you want to hear me speaking on the soapbox in a couple of weeks, check out Red Star Report.